Hi, and welcome to part one of a two-part series for April's Florida by the Numbers. I'm Dr. Keith Richard, Vice President of Research at the Florida Chamber Foundation. Today, I'm going to be diving into the first data available of the year on employment statistics, which were recently released by Florida Commerce, as well as new information on the size of Florida's economy, the positive outlook of Floridians, and insights into the latest Florida Chamber Foundation research. The FloridaScorecard.org is a great resource for staying up to date in real time on hundreds of economic metrics. This month's update is focused on the latest state-level trends, but you can also see what's happening in your county anytime on the FloridaScorecard.org. Now, let's dive in. Florida's labor market remains strong, continuing to add jobs above the historic 10 million benchmark that was reached in 2024. While annual job growth slowed slightly to 1.3%, Florida is still adding more jobs and now has a labor market with more jobs than there are people in 40 different U.S. states. Florida added jobs in every sector. This is the first time in a few months that no major industry saw a dip in employment. Leading the gains were the education and health services industry, as well as the construction industry. While education and health services consistently see top gains, the growth of the construction industry has been a recent trend. Our 2025 Florida Economic Forecast, which you can access by scanning the QR code on the screen, anticipated a strong year for the construction industry, and that is, in fact, holding true so far. Florida's unemployment rate did tick up in February, now at 3.6%. Although the unemployment rate has been slowly increasing, Florida is still experiencing a workforce shortage. Right now, for every 100 open jobs, there are only 96 Floridians looking for work. An increase in Florida's unemployment rate is not a red flag for the labor market, as it's still currently well below the national rate of 4.1% and is within what some economists consider a natural range of unemployment. That means it's within a range you would expect of a balanced labor market with typical worker flow. So overall, Florida's labor market is strong and steady, proving to be a bright spot for Florida's economy. Florida's labor market can't maintain its strength without strategic partnerships and the leadership of organizations like one of the Florida Chamber Foundation community development partners, Amazon. Let's take a moment to review Amazon's economic impact here in Florida. When I recently spoke with Angie Santabañez, head of community engagement for Amazon in Florida, she shared that Amazon has created more than 52,000 jobs in Florida and has invested more than $36 billion through their operational presence and community engagement. Growing Florida's GDP is what will move us towards being a top 10 global economy by 2030, and Amazon has added more than $38 billion to the state's GDP as a result of their investments in Florida. It's always a pleasure to highlight the great work of our community development partners who help grow Florida's economy and serve as thought leaders to support the Chamber Foundation's research. Now let's take a look at some of our foundation's recently released research. Florida Chamber Foundation research has also been working to move the needle in our labor market by highlighting the importance of math proficiency in the talent pipeline and identifying the gaps that exist between K-12 math proficiency and the skills that today's students need for tomorrow's workforce. In our research from our recently released Math Matters: Bridging Gaps for Florida's Future Workforce report, we found that even a 10 percentage point increase in math proficiency would translate to an additional 27,000 Florida 8th graders entering high school each year with strong math skills. A hindrance to that improvement is chronic absenteeism, which has a significant negative impact on math proficiency and is particularly relevant to rural and underserved school districts. These findings have helped inform legislators who are looking into related legislation to enhance math education in Florida. To To learn more about these challenges and the actionable opportunities to help Florida students see gains in math proficiency as they prepare for the future of work, you can read the full report by scanning the QR code on the screen. We'll be diving deeper into this research and other topics that impact the trajectory of Florida's current and future talent at the Florida Chamber Foundation's annual Florida Learners to Earners Workforce Solutions Summit on June 24th in Tampa, which will be keynoted by Ray Rodriguez, Chancellor of the State University System of Florida. This event is a great opportunity for HR leaders to join the discussions that are helping shape Florida's workforce. You can register today by scanning the QR code on the screen and contact our Vice President of Talent Development for the Future of Work, Rachel Ludwig, to get involved in our ongoing efforts. Switching gears, an important indicator in any economy is the housing market, and Florida's market is cooling after years of very high prices. The current median listing price in Florida is $435,000, which is up significantly from 2019, but has actually been stable over the last few months. The big factor in the cooling listing price is the restocking in the housing market. Florida's housing market has the largest supply level in years, and this is contributing to that leveling of prices we're seeing this month. Also, the final figures for Florida's GDP in 2024 were just released. Florida's economy continues to grow at a rate that is among the top states in the nation and now boasts a $1.74 trillion size economy. Over the last 4 years, Florida's economy grew by nearly 50%, meaning that although Florida is the 4th largest economy in the country, it is the state growing at the 2nd fastest pace. This growth spanned many industries, with accommodation and food services nearly doubling in GDP over that time period. We know that Florida's GDP has grown over the last year, but it's important to look at some future indicators of economic health as well, one of which is consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment measures how confident people feel about the economy and their own finances. Florida's consumer outlook has seen improvements over the last year, as Floridians feel more positive now than they did a year ago. This is in stark contrast to the downward trend at the national level. Uncertainty about the economy is high at the national level, influencing that dip in confidence, but Floridians feel more positively about our state's economy. Confidence in our economy plays a significant role in consumer spending, meaning consumer sentiment can be a helpful indicator of how our economy will continue to grow. To stay up to date as soon as Florida's latest metrics are released, we have a couple of resources to keep you in the know until the next Florida by the Numbers video update. You can follow at FloridaBTN, which stands for By the Numbers, on X, formerly known as Twitter, where these and other updated figures are posted regularly. Also, be sure to check out the floridascorecard.org on a regular basis. These metrics will be added as soon as they become available at both the state and county levels to help Florida leaders like you lead with data-driven insights. The Florida Scorecard and our team's accompanying research and analyses on these metrics are made possible by the Florida Chamber Foundation's community development partners. Companies and industry leaders like Amazon and Angie Santibanez, who have a statewide footprint committed to fueling the research and solutions for Florida's long-term economic success. If you have interest in joining these companies, you can contact me through the information on the screen. If you have any questions regarding the topics covered today or the work of the Florida Chamber Foundation, please reach out to me through the information on the screen. Thank you for joining us for Part 1 of April 2025 Florida by the Numbers. We look forward to breaking down the next release of labor market figures later this month in Part 2. See you then.